We have merch. Oh.
I be looking hella flaky, on fleek, all day, every
Nope.
day.
Stupid, ugly, dumb. Nope. Stupid, crazy, spots. Nope. Or this stuff sucks. Fire sale. Everything must go.
Face beat, hair beat, fresh tea.
Come on, Moose, you gotta take something. What size are you? Really? I'll take spots. Oh, we forgot to leave a message. What was I thinking? I'm so sorry. Hey, have a good night.
Hey, yo, it's me, it's the R.A.V. That's right, I'm back, motherfuckers. It's been a long time. It's been a fucking while since I've been back on the show. If anyone missed me, which I'm sure you didn't, I do apologize. I'll kind of explain myself a little bit later, but you know what? We got a two-man crew this week for the HeelCast, and if you've been listening to the show as of late, we're kind of doing the two-man crew quite a bit lately, but I've got my man Hurls here with me. Hurls, what's up, dude?
Oh, man, I think I'm doing better than Gordon Hayward's ankle out, but I'm doing good. I haven't been on here in a while, but I'm ready to talk some Impact Wrestling, formerly known as the GFW.
Well, yeah, that's actually a discussion I'm going to have with you a little bit later on here, Hurls, because there's some stuff I got on my mind because I haven't been on the show in a while. I know you said you haven't been on here in a while, but I know you've been on there more recently than I have, but the last show, this kind of blows my mind. The last show I did was actually recapping the episode where Eli Drake won the title. Long story short, I barely made the P. Williams interview. I was down to the wire. I got in about 15 minutes before that show was about to start. My laptop was fucking up. Couldn't get the head jack to work. It was a very stressful time. Really, I didn't have the time to do the PD show, but I just couldn't miss the PD Williams show. I want to give a thanks again to Dennis at the Wrestling Perspective for setting that up, and Griggs did a whole lot of work on that, and also to the Impact dude as well. So, I mean, normally the RAV is kind of involved in all that stuff. That was all them. So, and I'll talk about that PD Williams interview a little bit later. But if you have not seen or listened to our PD Williams interview, I ask every listener to check that out because it was awesome. I guess, Hurls, I mean, let's see, I know you, Kyle, and Robert really saved the show once. Impact Dude and FK9 last week. I just want to thank everyone for the HeelCast that has stepped up since I haven't been around. And Hurls, you guys have done some good work. Over the past few weeks, I've been very busy with work, and, I kind of have, last year I went through a divorce.
Bitches ain't shit but hoes and tricks.
I kind of moved to a city to, excuse me for coughing. Moved to a city where I really didn't know anyone to kind of start over. Moved again, so I kind of have friends again and a nightlife. But the reason for my absence start off with me having 99 problems, and I'll be honest, one bitch was literally all of them. But then it's football season, college and NFL. I work weekends, so I'm trying to catch up on my football now. I'm also an avid fantasy football enthusiast. I haven't had time to really do the show. I've been trying, but and also Twitter. I haven't checked my Twitter in over a month. I don't get notifications coming on my phone. So, anyone, if you wrote me on Twitter and I haven't responded, I'm really not being a dick to you. But, Hurls, I mean, what's been up with you, man? Catch up on the air, buddy.
Well, besides watching YouTube videos of Miami Dolphin coaches snorting coke, just hanging in there, obviously watching the new material that's come out on my screen. some really, really good material if you get my drift there. But, I subscribe to the GWN network. It's got some bugs to it, but I think overall it's really good. I have the money subscription, so it'll be cheaper than what I was normally paying Impact Wrestling a month. So I'll be able to watch the one night only, for a lot cheaper than I was. So I think it's a good deal. I'm very interested to see how they are going to do the discount for Bound for Glory, because they said for the people who have this network will get a discount. So they actually said on Twitter today that they're going to be releasing that in the next few months. Next few days, I believe. So look out for that. Other than that, fall season, you got football, you got NBA starting tonight. So I got a lot of sports I'm watching, but other than that, I've been still following Impact Wrestling, even with all the, I guess you could say, some turmoil in the last month or so. But that's really it.
Yeah, we're gonna talk that GWN a little bit later too, because I got it myself. Same thing. I'm paying for the subscription. If you're an Impact Wrestling fan, or really a fan of a couple other organizations, I mean, you should. It's $8 I know the economy. A lot of people don't make a lot of. It's $8 goddamn dollars, people. It's totally worth it. But we're gonna talk that in a little bit. Other than that, man, look, my Justin Herbert, Oregon Ducks quarterback. We've got the number one recruiting class in the nation so far, and if we didn't have that, I would be just screaming for our new coach, Willie Taggart, to be fired. We lose our quarterback. We have a 4-star redshirt freshman come in, and he looks like a 1-star. We are fucking terrible. And we had a quarterback. Literally, man, Ducks football against Stanford, we had like a total of 8 passes. 2 of them were interceptions. There was fucking 40-something yards passing in this goddamn game. Just an embarrassment. And that's killed me, because it seemed like my Ducks were going to be back, or at least be competitive. If we get 5-6 wins and get a bowl game, I'll be excited. My Niners are 0-6. I didn't expect we were going to be very good. I didn't think we'd be 0-6, but my heart definitely hurts because we Navarro Bowman. Navarro Bowman, one of my fucking favorite players of all time. I literally, man, for Christmas just got the black Navarro Bowman jersey last December, and he's gone. Literally none of the 49er jerseys that I have. Now, there's not a single player that's still on that team. They're either like legends or guys that are now gone from the team. But Hurls, I mean, look, you're a Cardinals fan, man. We're division rivals, but I got to say, I'm an Adrian Peterson guy all day, and I figured dude had gas in the tank. But, man, what'd you think of that shit?
Well, we had old-ass Chris Johnson out there that was trotting 10 carries for 25 yards, averaging a 2.5 yards per carry, and he just was not getting it done. And Andre Ellington's not the type of running back that can withstand the punishment. So we needed to make a move, and, with David Johnson going down, so you get Adrian Peterson in there, which the Saints weren't really using at all because, I don't know, I don't really get their philosophy half the time. So Cardinals made an offer, and they accepted, and oh, man, at least after 1 week, it looks like it's going to be a great trade and probably a season-saving trade. So, it was very surprising, too, because the offensive line for the Cardinals is so bad. Like, I didn't think they'd be able to create some holes for them, but somehow they did. They played good against the Buccaneers, so let's hope it keeps up. And I just want to say, too, Carson Palmer is actually having a really good year so far, which I think was after last year, I don't think many people thought would happen. But if you look at his stats, he's doing pretty good. So 3-3, playoffs are still in sight. They got to make it because I don't think the division's that good. It's getting better, but I still think the Cardinals they need to make the playoffs.
Yeah, that division is definitely not getting better in San Francisco, although we got our rookie quarterback coming in. But, I clearly, I'm not going to be a fan of the Cardinals or the Rams, but I just fucking hope to God, because only one team in that division is going to play off, and I just hope to God it's one of those two, because I fucking hate Seattle so much. And it makes me happy to see them not be that good at all. Yeah, I mean, Palmer, man, he's having a better year quietly. It just shows how good David Johnson was. But that O-line was shit, man, and it's just the Saints. You look at it, like, Peterson was clearly fucking better than Mark Ingram. Like, that O-line is better in New Orleans than it is in Arizona. And, Sean Payton's a brilliant head coach. I just don't know, what was going on there. But I'm going to say, man, like, just over the past 10 years or so, or, whatever, like, generational, like, Adrian Peterson at the last generation is by far the best running back that came out. I had the privilege. I've seen a lot of people, I used to have season tickets for the Oregon Ducks for 10 years. I've seen a lot of fucking players, like, came through college. I've seen Adrian Peterson, Aaron Rodgers, Deshaun Jackson, Marshawn Lynch all in person. Reggie Bush was the greatest college football player I've ever seen. He's kind of a bust in the NFL, but I saw a lot of them, man, and, we actually, like, I watched Adrian Peterson just rip us apart back in the day, so it's a good trade for you guys, man, and I hope you do something there, because Larry Legend, he's a good guy. I kind of like you guys more than the Rams.
Oh, well, thanks. Yeah, Larry is a legend, and the guy, if you haven't seen him this year, he's still making unbelievable catches, so I'd love to see him get a ring. I don't know if it's going to happen, but, he's a true Hall of Famer, true NFL player, and all around just a really good guy. So, yeah, we'll see. I'm optimistic, but, it's just those first 4 weeks were pretty tough to watch. So,
yeah, especially the toughest Cardinal game for me to watch was that overtime win where it looked like we were at least going to get a fucking tie, and then they throw that touchdown pass to Fitzgerald to beat the Niners. But you know what, man? The worse we do, the closer we'll get to getting Josh Rosen or Sam Darnold in the draft, or even Kirk Cousins. I wouldn't get Saquon Barkley or whatever, because Lord knows we're going to try and get rid of Carlos Hyde too, apparently. But look, man, we're going to talk wrestling. We've kind of went off, but it's good to catch up and maybe throw a breather out there. But look, the very last thing I want to say, because really, like, I haven't had the best time lately, and actually the Impact dude messaged me the other day when Navarro Bowman got released, and then I saw rumors that Carlos Hyde was on the trading block. He literally writes me and he's like, "You have to do this show this week just for your sanity, if nothing else." The positive thing I want to say, man, is a lot of people don't like the guy, and I get it. He's a kind of a freak, or at least used to be. To me, he's the greatest musician, artist of all time. Like, Marilyn Manson dropped his 10th studio album on October the 6th. I think it's a lot better than his previous 2 releases, and at least better than The Pale Emperor. But there's a video with Johnny Depp that came out, and I love this song, and this video is amazing. Johnny Depp and Marilyn Manson are very close friends, and this video is just awesome. And it's the music video. If you go to YouTube, I recommend checking this out, even if you don't like the music. The video is awesome, but it's SAY10. If you don't know what SAY10 is, I just ask you to say it out loud. Say 10. So, look, the guy doesn't worship the devil. He's atheist. The guy doesn't, he was angry back in the days and all, but he never took his ribs out to suck his own dick. Let's see, he doesn't
that was a big rumor.
Mutilate, small animals at his concerts, like Manson actually has a couple of cats. And also, Manson gives money to charities. He's acting. He's actually like a pretty solid dude. And, also during this time, he was at a concert and he tried climbing up on one of the letters on his stage as he was singing Sweet Dreams. It collapsed and crushed him, and he got hurt pretty bad. I'm glad Manson is all right. So, and, it's the Impact show, and Manson used to, Beautiful People. They actually kind of had like a little remix of his song back in the early TNA days. Obviously, they came out to Nobodies with Decay. So, look, Manson's got some Impact Wrestling ties, and the man, to me, is lyrically the greatest artist we've had of all time. And, some people don't like that genre. A lot of metalheads hate him, think he sold out, whatever, kiss my ass. But I want to say that, man.
I know this is a wrestling show, and we should probably stick to wrestling, but this is kind of a tie-in. Not only did Marilyn Manson come out with a new album, but Billy Corgan came out with a new album he goes by William Patrick Corgan. The album is called OG Lala, and it's actually really, really good. If you like a lot of the softer stuff on Melancholy and the Infinite Sadness, you will like OG Lala. I think the album is really good. Whatever you do, you stream, Spotify, whatever, listen to CDs. check it out. Go on YouTube and check out the album because I think it's really good stuff. And the rumor is that the Smashing Pumpkins will be getting back together for next year, and supposedly a new album and a tour. So definitely check that out.
I didn't know about Corgan's new albums, though. That definitely ties in, related. Manson and Corgan also friends. Obviously, we know Billy Corgan's ties with not only Impact, but the wrestling industry. Melancholy, I mean, look, 1979 to Night Tonight, is it 33? I mean, some of their softer stuff is really fucking good music.
Yeah. If you like that, you will definitely like his new solo album. So it's a lot like that type of stuff. So
No doubt.
Yep.
Yeah. I've always been a Pumpkins fan. I like the Pumpkins a little bit more than I like Billy Corgan's creative with Impact. But I was kind of thinking today, knowing I was going to do this show, I actually really hope that this NWA thing with him and Dave Lagana actually it did go somewhere, and maybe we'll get them on the GWN. Maybe there'll be a working relationship at some point. But I mean, look, man, it's not WWE. It's the wrestling business. Let's keep it going. So we're going to move on to wrestling, and there's just one thing that I want to say, and we're speaking of territories and stuff. I'm not going to say names, and I'm not going to go out too much, but I kind of have my heart broken a little bit. There's a person that we've met, I personally met, and I'm keeping the identity safe, who was a person in the wrestling business who is pretty close and special to me and Old School Heel. And this person is, it's weird because Saturday I got a message from this guy, and it was weird because it was responding to a message I sent him back in the hurricane time, checking out on how he was doing there. And he wrote me saying that he has a health condition, and I've heard this once from him, and he's never asked for pity, never brought it up, anything like that. But the first thing he said was that, his condition hasn't changed at all. Hasn't gotten worse, hasn't gotten any better, but he can live with that. And then he told me about he's having his birthday. I think his family hasn't seen in a long time, and going to surprise one of his good friends in the wrestling business who I've seen a post from that it talked about how influential this person was in his career. I'm not going to mention names right now either, but I'll say he's a hardcore legend, if that makes sense to you. And, yesterday there was a post on Facebook from him, and he just got admitted to the ER, and his health just took a big turn for the worse. And I don't know if I'm going to get you to listen to the show or whatnot, but, man, it's devastated me, and I just had to come on and do a wrestling show. Just get better, and, you're definitely in our thoughts and our prayers. And, it's killing me, man, and it's hard for me to do this show and say the right thing, and, Old School Hill and myself are really hoping that we'll get the chance to do something special for him and his career and legacy. I don't know that we're going to get that opportunity that he's going to be up for. He's very secretive of his identity. So that's what it is. But you know who you are, and I'm praying for you, man, and anything you need from a distance, but I've got your back. All right, Hurls, let's go to the plugs, man. Been a while since I've done these, so I apologize if I'm rusty, but we're not the only Impact Wrestling podcast show out there. But check out the Big Ray Show, hashtag Impact Attack. The Wrestling Perspective, which is Dennis and Petey Williams. Check that out, man. Of course, go to impactasylum.net. You can get hot fire. There's a discussion thread, and of course, there is FK9 Straight Shooting, along as well as the HeelCast show. Speaking of HeelCast, check out our boy Robert Does Wrestling. And we're talking about the HeelCast members, Impact Heads is no longer a thing. Kyle and Steph, they're throwing in the towel with the Impact Heads. The time and the passion, all that is gone. But look, Kyle and Chef, they're always welcome back with us. We know Kyle's come on and done this show. Kyle almost did this show with us, so we're going to get more Kyle with us on the HeelCast. Of course, Andre Corbeil, our listener, LB One of a Kind, he does his own show, the One of a Kind Elite podcast. And, look, I've been absent. I know we went 1 week without a show. We have 6 or 7 people here that do this show. And it's hard to do, man, with your personal life, with work, with family, with whatever you have. It's hard to do this podcast thing unless it's your occupation, you're getting paid for it. So what I want to say, man, is I cannot stress how much I endorse the shit out of BQ. BQ in his Impact Lounge. Like, BQ's got a life, he's got a family, he's got a job, and BQ still does his thing, man, and he's really dedicated to this, and I just, you know, as much as I love the HeelCast and the stuff that we do, I mean, I don't think there's anyone that works harder and more dedicated than BQ. So check out BQ's Impact Lounge, everyone. If you're not supporting BQ or following him, please do that. So what's up, BQ? I haven't talked to you in a while, man. We should do something together at some point. And look, the last thing I want to say, man, our boy Chef.
What's going on, baby?
Chef has a new clothing line out, man. I mean, Chef's really stepping up. Has this been talked about on the show yet?
No, not really, no.
What's going on, baby?
And I promised Chef I was going to get it out there on the show. It's just since the P.D. Williams show, I haven't been on here at all and hadn't had the chance. And the thing was, you know, with the P.D. Williams show, it was different. We didn't do plugs and all. But look, Chef, what I want you to, like, man, if you've seen Chef at Impact, you've probably seen some of his signs, some of his shirts, the Heel Team 6 stuff. What I want you to do, it's www.designbyhumans.com/shop/heel-team6. That's HEELTEAM and the number 6. All right? Support Chef, man. Check out his stuff. Like, Chef is, he's got some awesome design. He's got some good stuff. I mean, it's shit you see on Impact. I mean, like, Chef will send me these shirts and shit, man. Like, Chef's got a shirt for, like, every occasion, man. I think Chef's got, like, a Columbus Day shirt, for fuck's sake. And I'm joking, but I mean, like, he's got ring rat shit. He's got Halloween. I mean, Chef's putting a lot of work and effort into it, man. And, you know, it's an Impact thing. It's supporting somebody who's there at Impact, trying to put fucking fan noise out there, supporting this company. And, you know, I know Chef's not the happiest about them leaving Orlando and whatnot, but, you know, Chef's really been the fucking face of fandom for Impact Wrestling for a long time now. So, look, our listeners, you know, you've listened to Chef. Chef has entertained you. Chef has entertained the shit out of me on the show more times than I can count. So check out Chef's stuff and see what he's got going on. But, Chef, I'm going to call you out. I got to call you out, man.
What's going on, baby?
Chef has to be cheating at fantasy football. I'll tell you that, man, because I saw that trade, which it looked like it was Chef and his sister, and it was kind of a shiesty trade, Chef. Kind of shiesty. So I'm going to call you out on that one, man, because I got first place in that league right now. Chef, what are you doing, man? Waiver wire. That's how you do it. Like, man. So if I'm wrong, Chef, I apologize, but I think you're trying to pull a fast one on me, bro.
I just want to say, too, that Chef is actually at a Halloween party as we speak, so let's hope that Chef doesn't get the cops called on him tonight. So prayers for Chef.
I wonder if Chef's dressing up as It, you know, the cliche costume. Everyone's got to be It the Clown or Pennywise right now. But, you know, Chef, hope you have fun at your Halloween party. I'm calling you out on fantasy, man. So, Hurl, let's hit this news, man. I think we spent more time talking about non-wrestling stuff than we'll actually talk about wrestling today. But, you know, so there's been some releases. For one, Eddie Kingston is gone from Impact, whatever the fuck the company is called. Look, basically, I'm not surprised. They didn't use the guy very much at all. Very disappointing. I've heard a lot about Kingston throughout the years. Really, his Impact Wrestling run was very, very, very forgettable. I mean, I've seen the guy. I saw the guy cut a promo here, and he impressed me. I've seen some other work. He's better than what he came off here, but I mean, that's really all I have to say about it. It's a disappointment. I don't know if you have anything you want to chime in on here on Kingston's release.
Yeah, I mean, we barely got to see anything. I mean, he comes in with Death Crew Council, DCC, and, you know, it looks kind of promising, but it never took off because I don't think the writers ever fully backed it. And the problem was it came to be when there was a regime change. And I think that kind of halted everything, which is really unfortunate because I was hearing a lot of great stuff about Kingston. I really haven't seen a lot of his work, but, you know, his Impact run wasn't very good. But I don't think that was necessarily his fault because he just didn't get anything really to work with. And it's too bad that Impact couldn't find him something to do because I'm sure, you know, it wouldn't be hard. So, I mean, like, I'm trying to even think of a match that I really liked, but most of the matches that he was in were like under 7 minutes long. There was a really good explosion match with him and Davey Richards, but other than that, I can't really think of like a lot of the matches that I really liked of his. So it's too bad. I hope someday he can come back, but that was very disappointing, and kind of disappointed that Impact didn't have something for him. So just a really bad situation there.
Yeah, I mean, look, GCC, you know, there definitely was potential there. It was a big thing to at least push it as, and I think, you know, them and him and Bram as a team, I think they could have had some good stuff against DK, you know, kind of the way the two of those set up. And, I mean, look, at the time, the Hardys, there wasn't a whole lot of other teams for the Hardys to feud with. I know there was, like, a little stupid, you know, Broken Universe skit with them at one point, which I feel like really made them look silly. But, you know, there definitely could have been something there, at least at the time. But, you know, it is what it is. I don't know if this was covered on the show. I'm sure it probably was, but I at least want to say a couple things on here. So Robbie E. is gone from Impact Wrestling. Probably not much of a surprise, but I will say this. If you go to FK9's website right now, you heard of Don West Insane Deals. You can get FK9's Insane Deals. Get your Robbie E. toilet paper support is gone forever. It is flying off. Discount prices, $5 a slice, or a roll, or a sheet, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I'm sorry I said slice. Lord knows he's eating toilet paper, but Robbie E. gone from Impact. Hurls?
You know, I'm not on the anti-Robbie E train, as you know, most of the commentators are on here. I do think he was kind of over-pushed when he first came into TNA at the time. You know, I liked him on The Amazing Race. That's actually what got me to really watch that show, and now I'm kind of hooked. But, you know, I mean, what else could he do? I mean, he did kind of everything that I think his abilities allowed. I mean, he won the tag team titles. He won the X Division title. He won the global title /TV. So, I mean, he won 3 out of the 4 titles. Well, 3 out of the 4 titles he could get. So, you know, I don't think it's that big of a loss for Impact. I think there's better workers out there. But as far as, like, you know, you need a guy to go out and do something, I think Robbie E. was definitely a guy that would do that. And he had some underrated matches. I know a lot of people like to rip on him, but you watch, I think it was Bound for Glory 2014 when they faced
against
Kyle from the editing room here. Bromance versus Decay, Slammiversary 16, great match.
Was against now. Was it Beer Money? I don't think it was Beer Money.
Bound for Glory 2014 was the Japan one.
Oh, I'm sorry, 2013 then. Maybe it was 2013. Was that Bad Influence they wrestled? I can't remember.
Didn't they actually, like, the pre-show they beat Bad Influence and then went and beat, like, Storm and Gunner?
Yeah, Storm and Gunner. I knew Storm was in it. Thank you. Yeah, if you watch that match was actually really good, surprisingly. So Robbie E., not the greatest worker. I mean, him and the Wolves had some decent matches too. Robbie E. and Jesse, the Bromans, they had some good matches against the Wolves. But, you know, he's not the best worker, but he wasn't the worst either. But I don't think it's a huge loss, but at the same time, I mean, I think it's a slight loss. He was with the company for 7 years, which was hard to believe, but, you know. So he's a guy I could see coming back, though. I really could.
I'm not going to shit on the guy a whole lot, because I've shit all over the guy a lot on this show, and honestly, yeah, like, and I'm actually going to kind of, like, fess something up here in a minute, but, so, yeah, like, the dude was pushed way too hard when he came in, and they were running the coattails off this stupid fucking Jersey Shore fad, and, you know, I was watching WWE and TNA at the same time. Like, he was doing this shit on TV before Zack Ryder was, so everyone that says he was ripping off Zack Ryder can suck a dick. But, you know, he's a decently talented guy, but, I mean, the stick just grew old. Like, he never developed. Like, I even pitched a thing where he, like, kind of went away and came back as, like, a more serious, like, tough guy from Jersey kind of a thing. Kind of like Frankie Edgar. I wrote that in, like, one of my columns, and, you know, I know Impact Dude has brought that up a couple of times, like, kind of throwing a jab at me or whatnot in a joking way, but it's just, you know, they talk about wrestlers, you know, like, being their character to a 10th degree. Like, from what I've heard from people who are legitimately in that locker room and shit, like, that is who Robbie E. is. He's made more money, more fame, got a much better body than I'll ever be, and he fucked Brooke Tessmacher. So, you know what? Props to you, Robbie. I'm glad you're gone. One thing that does bother me, his tag team partner over in Noah for a little bit, so it appears Bram is gone. He put some on Twitter about how he's taking bookings for the UK until March of next year. This one sucks. And I'm not just saying this because it's a Chef's boy and Chef's my boy and all. Like, I've always been a fan of Bram since he came in. I thought him and Magnus' feud was great. I really want to see those two get back together. He was the King of the Mountain champion. Lost it to Eli. He beat EY. I thought, like, Bram and EY would be a great tag team at the time, too. I was praying for that alliance. Bram's a talented dude, and I think he got every time things were going for him, it's like he got the domestic violence charge, which got dropped on him. That set him back. And then he laid in a fucking cooler in Japan and got suspended by Noah, and we never saw him again. So I hope this isn't the end of Bram, but, I wish Bram the best. I think this is a big mistake, and I hope that Bram comes back because I think he's a talented dude with a lot of potential. And, Hurls, I don't know your thoughts on Bram, but this one disappoints me. Hurls, you still there, man?
Yeah, Bram could have been world champion in my book. He had so much potential. I don't see how you can't use a guy like Bram. Like, I don't know who wasn't high on him in this new regime, but, like, I think they had so much potential, and it was just all wasted. I know he had a bad injury. I do know that, and I don't know how long if he's still recovering from that or what, but very disappointing that it looks like he's gone. Now, this has not been confirmed, but, if you write on Twitter you're going to be in the UK taking bookings till March, I think we can add the pieces there. So, very unfortunate. He got the King of the Mountain title. That was the only title he won, I believe. So, it's pretty disappointing. I really hope eventually they give him another look because he did some great promo work. He was super intense, and I think he proved that he can be a world champion someday.
Yeah, he came back from that injury. Not a lot of people knew exactly what happened. I'm not going to say it, but look, someone we know is actually, pretty, has a decent relationship with Bram. So, we kind of heard what had happened to him. He came back real quick for that. But, yeah, it's definitely disappointing. I don't know. Look, I enjoyed this Jarrett regime while it was going on. I thought they were making the right changes. But there's a few guys, like EC3 and Bram and a couple others, Rockstar Stud. It's just I don't know what this regime didn't see in them because they really fucked up there. But, another guy that is possibly rumored to be gone is DJZ. So, look, DJZ last year got pinfall victories over Mike Bennett and Eddie Edwards. He was extremely improved on the X Division title. So, I saw on Asylum people were talking. Apparently, he said that he's not sure if he's going to be coming back to the company or not, especially with the X Division reviving itself and, really kind of getting it, at least at one point, looked like it was getting back to where it was in the glory days. I think this is a big mistake as well. Hurls, what you got on DJZ Mahayan?
Very disappointing. Like, if you look at every year that DJZ was in the company, I think he improved somewhat from the previous year. There's really no reason that they should let a guy like DJZ go. He overcame it, and then I know he worked at the Crash promotion, and then we never really saw him after that. So it was just very disappointing. I just think that they gotta, they can't. I don't think they should be getting rid of anybody right now, especially in a time when you're trying to rebuild the roster. I think you should try to keep it as steady as possible. I think DJZ is such a talented wrestler. It's not like, they could have moved him up to the, possibly Grand Championship division or even put him in the tag team. I think that would have been good too. So very disappointing, and not real sure why they did it.
The one thing with the new regime, Jarrett knows talent, and fucking we never got any it was so rare that we'd actually get a new talent. And when we did, it'd be, most times, more often than not, it'd be pretty damn underwhelming. And I think the Impact roster actually got maybe a little too crowded with too much new talent. And I'm not complaining because I won't. The more talent, the better for me. I feel like maybe a couple releases were fine. Like, if you were to tell me Robbie E., Grado, and Mahabali Shera were gone, I'd be fucking fine with that. And I know my boy Count would be happy if Crimson was gone. I personally want more tag teams, but there's a couple other speculated names that are out there that I think could be gone. And this, I'm going to say this one here that this one fucking might kill me the most if this is happening, but it's also a rumor I saw on Impact Asylum. I think one of the most underrated performers in the company in wrestling at all right now would be Rockstar Spud. And I think Spud, for one, man, when they made this guy a wrestler, but let's not forget the fact that this was the guy that beat Austin Aries and, was the guy that put his career out. And later on, we have him ring announcing, being this fucking lackey for Aaron Rex, jobbing to Hornswoggle. I mean, man, this guy, I think, when he first came in, was the chief of staff or whatever to Dixie. He shined, like, as a funny character. Him and EC3 together were magic. And that match that the two of them had, I'll never forget that match, to be honest. I will never forget that match. And I feel like that match should have made, it kind of made them both. But just the guy, I feel, and I've said this for so long, the guy is like, I miss managers in wrestling. I do. I think Bobby the Brain Heenan, who recently passed away since we did the show, I mean, RIP, the greatest of all time, greatest commentator, greatest manager ever. But that shit is needed. And I think Rockstar Spud, he's got that wit and that funniness that Bobby Heenan had, and the facial expressions and all, but he's got like that puny run build like Jimmy Hart. And I just think Rockstar Spud, man, as a manager, if nothing else, like, dude has money and can really get people over. And, I felt like if you put him with fucking EC3 and Eli Drake, even though those two can talk their way like nobody else, I mean, it would work. And then you put Spud with someone else. I mean, it's money, and I just hope to God we get Spud back because I miss the guy.
Yeah, I think, it sucks whenever we lose wrestlers because it always seems like maybe besides Robbie, we always lose the guys that we don't want to lose. So just a crappy time period, but, every company goes through this. Even the big old WWE, they just lost. You had Austin Aries leave a little earlier, and you had just recently Neville basically apparently just walked out on their show. So, and apparently they fired Jimmy Jacobs just because he took a selfie with the Young Bucks. So there's a lot of crappy stuff that happens with every wrestling company. But, hopefully Impact, with all these releases, they have some plans to bring in some other talent. So we can only hope. Raven, are you there? Okay, apparently we lost Raven, so guess I'll just keep going over some of the other stuff that's happening that I guess I want to talk about. So it looks like Madison Rayne is going to be getting a job with WWE. She's apparently been working out at the Performance Center in Florida with WWE, and she kind of wrote some things on, Twitter that she's, very blessed and
Hey, Earl.
extreme. Oh,
I'm sorry to cut you off. You are extremely low sounding.
I'm sorry. What? I did not hear you for like the last minute.
You didn't hear me?
No.
Okay. What was the last thing you heard me say?
Oh, geez. You were talking about, was it DJ Z, maybe?
Holy shit, really? Did I bring up Rockstar Spud?
Oh, yeah. You were talking about Rockstar Spud. Yes, that was the last one.
Okay. Hurls, I'll be honest. So right now you're still... Never mind. I figured it out. Hurls, you're probably not speaking very loud. The RIB is a dumbass, everyone, and I really apologize for cutting you off now, Hurls. somehow I hit the speaker button off, and it was like I can hardly hear Hurls. There's something wrong with his phone. It's just I'm an idiot. But Hurls, I brought up Marche Rocket probably being gone. Did you hear that at all?
No, did not hear that.
All right. I have no idea what you were saying. So I'm sorry for whatever's cut you off on, and obviously this is going to get cut off. This will not be cut out of the show. So HeelCast Nation, apologize for interrupting Hurls. Other speculation I could see Marche Rocket gone. I wouldn't mind missing Braxton Sutter. Hurls, go ahead and take it from there, man. We'll move on to the next thing. I apologize very much, dude.
Oh, no, I was just saying Madison Rain getting a job with WWE, and then I kind of talked about Neville, walking out on WWE, and then Jimmy Jacobs getting fired for a selfie with the Young Bucks.
And that's the last two things I heard was Jimmy Jacobs and Neville.
Okay. Then I just kind of talked about Madison Rain getting a job with WWE, which, good for her, but I think it's kind of surprising, especially like how backstage involved she was with Impact this previous year. So what are your thoughts on that, Rain?
Yeah, it's ironic because I think what actually ended up with me, probably somewhere like a cheekbone or my chin or something, probably hit the speaker button off on my phone was I was actually trying to add in my notes to bring up this Madison Rain thing. It's a little surprising. I mean, she's not the greatest worker. She's a very attractive girl. She is. And I think, when I say she's not the greatest worker, she's vastly improved from where she started at. And I think she's just fine as a female competitor. I do think she's, above average. She can cut a decent promo. She's smart and all that. Best of luck to her. I don't know what that's going to happen with, with her and Josh, and I'm sure that can be kind of pressure on a relationship, especially when, your husband kind of is, as much as I bashed on Josh, he's an Oregon Ducks fan and, has talked plenty of shit about WWE, so I'll give him credit there. I don't know, maybe it's just a way to fucking take jabs at Josh and fuck with their relationship or whatnot, but, I hope Madison makes the best of it, to be honest. As much as I hate that company and don't want to see them succeed, I enjoy Madison Rain, so best of luck to her,
Yep.
Well, Hurls, I don't know if you have anything else you want to say, but, was there anything else you want to chime in before I move on to the next thing?
No, that's pretty much all I have to say about Madison Rain.
All right, buddy. Well, look, I know it was last week at some time, but I had woke up in the morning and I grabbed my phone to check my notifications, and for some reason, one of the very first things I did was I got on Facebook, and right at the very front, staring me in the face, was Global Wrestling Network has launched, and the first thing I did was I tagged the Impact Dude, Hurls, Chef, Kyle, and Griggs, brought them here thinking, that's fucking launched, and we have a Global Wrestling Network, man. So basically you got the WWE Network, the thing we've been hearing about. So basically, the TNA Vault library. So here's what I know so far. I'm paying the $8 like you are, $8 a month. I know because the Impact Dude was on the conference call that we are going to get the Destination and Spike TV Impacts loaded up onto this network soon enough. You got the pay-per-views, you got the Asylum Year shows. The one night only, the Amped Anthology, that's something I really wanted to check out. Didn't get a chance to see. You can watch that now. The one night only shows, people paying $15 for those. You can watch those now. I know that helps you out a lot, Hurl. So, and I kind of fucked around with it today. I haven't been able to watch too much content. I watched half of I want to say Turning Point 2008 because I've been wanting to see the 2009 2010 stuff a lot. Basically not because 2010 was good, but just to see the downfall. But I love 2009, especially the end. So I kind of checked today. So there's Smash, there's Border City Wrestling, and there's something when you go to Classic Wrestling, it's I can't remember what it's called, but it's Superstars of Wrestling or something like that. And it's not too classic because Rhino's on there and some other people, but from what I understand, we're supposed to get Crash, AAA, Noah. I don't see those on there. Do you know anything about that, Hurl?
Yeah, they're going to be added on in probably the next year or so. But Yeah, they did say they are going to add Crash, AAA, and Noah stuff coming soon. So I do know, though, if there's some really good matches in Smash Wrestling. I believe there's a Chris Hero versus Samoa Joe match that is going to be uploaded pretty soon. So there's definitely a lot of really good matches and a lot of good content on this app. So, but go ahead, Raven. I don't want to cut you off.
Oh, no, man, you didn't cut me off at all. Actually, I mean, look, as a TNA wrestling fan, I mean, you basically are getting the entire fucking access, and that's awesome. You know, like, basically for me, my living situation still kind of sucks since I've been divorced. I have a lot of TNA DVDs from the past, but I don't have, like, everything. But that's all in storage. I haven't been able to really watch a whole lot of stuff other than what I brought over, which is, like, you know, when I was kind of going in my little history vault that I had, like, in my rotation 2006, 2007 stuff. And it's, like, you know, doing the show and being on the film and stuff, like, there's some shit I wanted to go back and watch from 08, 09, 2010 and on, you know, just kind of, as much as I disliked them, just, you know, some of the shit from those Hogan and Bischoff years too, but, I mean, being able to watch the Impact episodes, like, this company, man, they really fucking should have put out a lot more DVD or Blu-ray, or at least one Blu-ray release at some point, but, I mean, they've missed some compilations and stuff, and there's stuff that I wanted to see, and you can go back and get that, you know, and basically I'm paying for the TNA stuff, and, you know, I know it's going to interest some people, but, like, I don't give a shit about watching AAA or Noah or, you know, anyone else, but it's still awesome that content's available out there for people to care, and I feel like this could be really a really successful thing, not only for Anthem, but for TNA, that they can really gauge how many people are watching their show. We don't have to worry about if they lose a fucking TV deal, because it's $8 goddamn. I hope that it can get on, like, Amazon Fire, because, look, I don't like fucking watching it on my laptop screen. But, I mean, man, it's awesome. So, like, I asked Old School Heel if he got it, and he said no, but he said basically with the Fight app, you get the exact same thing. But, I mean, man, this is awesome. I think it's game changer. You know, I'd like to see, and I think the thing that they're going to really be able to possibly capitalize on, especially with this AAA thing, is I think they might be able to really get Lucha Underground. And that, I mean, Lucha Underground doesn't have a huge following, but it's got a little bit of a following. And I think that can really help them succeed if they can pull Lucha Underground, because apparently Lucha Underground might not. They're trying to shop to a different network from El Rey. This is a chance for them. And, you know, it'll never happen, but I feel like if Ring of Honor weren't such shitbags and ownership and management and all that, I really feel like if ROH would fucking get on board with this, and possibly even New Japan, I mean, this could be game changer to really stick it to the WWE. And, you know, you have Anthem and TNA, Impact, whatever the fuck it's called now, kind of at the forefront of all this. And it just, you know, it could be a lot bigger and better than it is. But, I mean, it's an awesome thing. And, I mean, come on, man. I'm sorry, and I said this earlier, and I know money is tight on some people and all that, but who can't afford $8 a month? Okay? Like, you can find a way to budget $8. Pick up fucking cans for all I care. $8. Support this company. I mean, you get all the content. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, it's got everything you could wish for as a TNA/Impact fan. I mean, they're not even done uploading everything yet. I mean, I know there's still some explosion matches that they're going to be uploading. There's some stuff. Apparently there's a match that happened. It was Elix Skipper versus Shinsei Nakamura that happened on Explosion, and they had a poll today, and they're apparently going to be loading it up as we speak. It might already be on there, but a couple things that I'm hoping that happens is I hope it goes to Xbox. They said they're going to put it on the Xbox pretty soon, so that'll be good, so I can actually watch on my TV. Otherwise, I'm going to have to buy a converter, and then that's probably how I'll watch it on TV. But so far, I mean, it's a really cool app, really cool network. I hope everybody gets it if you're a fan. And like I said earlier in the show, I'm interested to see how the whole discounted pay-per-views are gonna come. I think that they should try to make it so if you're paying $8, you get the pay-per-views free, kind of similar to what WWE does. But if it's a good discount, I won't complain.
And I mean, look, this is a thing that I think, for some of the more, real hardcore loyal TNA fans, like yourself, because I know you paid the $15 for the one night only, right? I mean, I would do it for, really the only ones that I ever did it for was the extravaganza ones. And, sometimes they're a little bit disappointing, but I mean, look, man, and because here's the thing is, so shopimpact.com released some new DVDs, and I saw this the other day. Look, there's some new shirts and stuff, just EC3 Eli Drake merch and all that. So I mean, check it out, people. But look, I'm looking at these things to see if I want to buy them, and I know, let's see, for one, and I'm pretty sure this is a match that Hurls had said was his match of the year earlier, was Turning Point 2017, and one I know only the Lashley versus Moose match. But I mean, look, you're paying $15. And I'm looking at some of these, man, and it's like Veterans of War versus Bakara and Falaba, Ava Story versus LVN, Shira versus Rocket, KM versus Matt Morgan, Davey versus Suicide, it's probably like Rosemary versus Sienna. I mean, this is probably the best lineup, and it's like I don't know that I would pay $15 to watch that. And I'm trying to pull up this other one here that I saw this and like, what? Who would fucking pay $15 for this? And you don't have to pay that now, but look, Lashley versus Eddie Edwards, Garza Laredo versus Idris Abraham, King Zane, Shera versus Falaba, Trevor Lee versus Suicide, KM versus Sutter, Desmond Xavier versus Bakara, LVN versus Rosemary. I mean, that just doesn't sound like $15 worth of, like I would pay $15. It sounds like a fucking very average episode of Impact. So I mean, look, you're really getting bundles and savings there. Look, I'm not trying to like kiss ass and just promote this company that pays me no money. To try and keep them afloat or get you to subscribe to the network. But I mean, dude, this is awesome. It really is. I hope that they get more original content. I like to see more compilations. Like there's the best of EY, best of Bobby Roode, greatest comebacks, stuff like that. I mean, there's cool stuff. I mean, just make some more original content. Obviously, it's not going to happen overnight. There's a lot of shit to do, but it's cool stuff, man. And I don't know, like Scott Steiner's greatest TNA matches. Kevin Nash, EY part 1 and 2. I mean, shit, they got British Invasion. Christopher Daniels is. I don't know why they have RVDs, but, he's a legend, all that. Styles and Daniels saga. I mean, greatest Ultimate X. Like, there's a lot of stuff, and, more of that stuff would be cool. I mean, I'm about ready to kind of move on from this. I don't know if there's anything else you wanted to chime in on at Hurls, but, I mean, definitely get this fucking thing.
No, I'm good. I just think everybody should go out and get it because I think it's such a great deal, and there's a lot of great content on there, so... If you have the WWE Network, why not get the GWN Network as well?
Exactly. And for me, I got access to WWE Network. I don't pay for it. My buddy gives me his login and all that shit, and I'll go watch, some old WCW or ECW shit when I feel like it. But, you mentioned Bound for Glory is going to be on the Global Wrestling Network too. So here's my thing, man, and I'm happy that there's going to be a discount and all that because I'm going to keep this real. I'll talk about this in a minute, but I'm not excited about this Bound for Glory card at all. And I'm looking at paying $40. But here's the thing. The night before that is UFC 217. And I've got Michael Bisping against George St. Pierre. I've got Cody Garbrandt against TJ Dillashaw. I've got Joanne Champion against Thug Rose. I've got Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Jorge Masvidal. I'm not paying $100 for pay-per-view, and there's no way in hell I'm choosing Bound for Glory over this UFC pay-per-view. I'm sorry, everyone that listens to this show. I'm sorry, everyone that works for TNA or Impact. I'm not paying $40 for that shit. So if I'm going to get a discount to watch Bound for Glory, then that's going to be the way I'm going to be able to watch it because it doesn't line up for me. So I mean, this is good. I'm happy to hear there's a discount. I'm sorry. I'm just being honest with you. So, and we'll find out what that is soon. So I mean, look, two more things we got to talk into. So Alberto is making his return to Bound for Glory. I think this was kind of a given, and we kind of knew this was happening, but we all know why he got suspended and whatnot. So he's coming back. I don't know. I've got 3 different kind of theories that I think is going to happen, but Hurls, your thoughts on this one?
Well, I think one of the theories is he joins up with LAX. I think that's a definite possibility. Second possibility is he ends up screwing Johnny Impact at the title. And maybe the third, I think he just kind of remains a face. I think 2 of the situations he turns heel, which I think are very likely. especially since, he was stripped of the title. So he's going to obviously want some revenge there for that. I think more than likely he comes back as a heel and he has a big feud with management. And he comes back to possibly help Eli Drake win, but not necessarily align with Eli Drake, but kind of just stick it to management for basically vacating the title. Or stripping the title off of him, I should say.
Yeah,
what are your theories, Raven?
I mean, well, for one, you covered the LAX thing. Two was the Johnny Impact thing. To have him come back as a heel, and that's 2 out of 3 is he's going to be heel and come at Johnny Impact, or join LAX. And that obviously with the way LAX is right now, he'll help him beat OVE. But here's the other thing, and this is and it kind of sucks we didn't have Kyle on today, but look, when TNA did the house shows or whatnot, New York and all that, Eli Drake was throwing shade at Alberto. Was talking shit about Alberto to the crowd. And so coincidentally after this, and this was another reason why I kind of felt like when they were announced the Battle Royal that Eli was going to win it, other than the fact that, you're going in first or whatnot, is because of that. And I felt like that's going to build up to this feud between Alberto and Eli Drake. So I feel like maybe Alberto would come in and, maybe take away Chris Master or Chris Adonis and, help Johnny Impact get the win and win the belt. Or, we'll see Eli retain and then, kind of have a stare down between Alberto and Eli for the belt. But truthfully, I don't see Eli Drake retaining it all. I think we'll see what they want, which is 2 former WWE guys main eventing and headlining their shit between Johnny Impact and Alberto. But those are my thoughts. Like Alberto's got that. He's a name, and they're going to need it, especially since, the fucking person who actually knows how to be in the wrestling business is now gone from the company, and dumb fuck could be expect in some sort of power. But we'll talk about that in a sec. Rose, anything you want to chime in before we talk about some delicious eats?
No, that's as far as the Alberto thing. That's pretty much my three theories of how he will return. That's about it.
Yep. So I mean, look, the last thing, and damn, Rose, I kind of thought this was going to be kind of a shorter show. We're doing things a little bit different. We're kind of shooting the shit. We'll get into Impact in a sec because there's some just stuff I want to talk about. But last bit of news. So I can't really make this stuff up, folks, but Impact Wrestling is going to have their own pizza. I thought Count made a funny thing about it being 6-sided, but like that, apparently that's the actual thing. Pearls, you got the info on it? Go for it, my man.
Yeah, so Impact Wrestling is teaming up with a sponsor in Ontario, Canada. They're basically going to be doing an after-party show for the 5 days that they're in Ottawa. So they teamed up with this pizza joint, and they're going to have wrestlers hang out with the fans and whatnot. And the restaurant is actually called Crust and Crate Fast Fired Pizza Pub Joint. So, I'm sorry, it's just called Crust and Crate Fast Fired Pizza Pub. So try saying that 5 times fast. But basically, like I said, they're going to be doing a after party. They're going to be serve as the host for the official post-Impact party every night from November 5th to the 10th, with nightly appearances by select members of the Impact roster. The media and public are invited to the press conference tasting, starting at 3 p.m. on Friday, October 20th. Lashley and Drake will be in Ottawa on Thursday and Friday, October 19th and 20th, and this will be their only autograph signing while in Ottawa. So that's pretty much the lowdown on that.
All right. Well, there you have it, folks. Canadian bacon and pineapple, throw some pepperoni in that bitch. I don't know. It's just good for them for getting like a half-ass sponsor. I mean, do what you can. But look, I'm just going to talk about some interesting tidbits and, kind of get on some shit that's been on my mind. I think this is going to be more the gist of our show. There's going to be some discussion, then we'll kind of briefly go down over what just happened on Impact. But look, Speaking of Lashley and Eli Drake in Ottawa, man, I want to give props to Impact Asylum. Impact Asylum pulled some interviews with those two guys, and we got two of our Canadian people from Impact Asylum are going to be there and pulling those interviews. So props to them. I believe it's Fire Guy who does Hot Fire and our boy DDG. So I think those are the two. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but Old School Hill had informed us. So that's pretty awesome for Impact Asylum. Really cool stuff there. Also, again, like Impact Asylum is doing these conference calls. Props to our boy Impact Dude has done 2 of them, man. So that's pretty awesome. And hint, hint, maybe you are going to hear the RAV on one of these Impact conference calls here in the future. Who knows? So just some other things, man, like, and I'm not going to go out and give the full details, and I don't know if it's 100% confirmed yet, but, went all the way through. But I want to give props to our boy Griggs. When I can announce a little bit more, I will, but Griggs in his life had something really awesome happen to him. So, Griggs, we love you, buddy. Congratulations. Look, shopimpact.com. We mentioned the new shit on there. I mean, I just always tell everyone, wait till November, Black November, there's Black Friday. Impact always have the entire month of November. Shit is cheap on there. Good sales. So, I mean, look, man, holidays coming up. Get your Impact gear on there. There's T-shirts. There's DVDs. New shit out there. I think there's like a new album or whatnot. So, I mean, look, always go there in November. And I really don't even know why I threw that down there. But so just the other thing I really wanted to say, man, is Petey Williams. So what people don't, and I wasn't really involved in too much of this, so I didn't know what was going on. But apparently Petey had only had been able to agree to an hour or something. That was all the time he was going to have for us. I had no idea about this. Dude didn't complain, didn't say shit. He went on, and I think we interviewed him for about 2 hours. So I want to say Petey Williams is such a nice, humble fucking guy. And, if you listen to the show before I even knew that we would have a chance at Petey Williams, like I told you how bad I marked out when he came back. I've always been a fan of this guy. I think he's just been such an underrated wrestler and performer. I think some of the better matches you've seen in this company's history, Petey Williams has been involved in them. And I want to thank Dennis again for putting this up. Griggs and Impact Dude for their hard work. But, man, Petey Williams, there's some stuff that, when you do these interviews that we don't really talk about. And, Stephen Rosemary was kind of in character. And Aiden O'Shea was kind of half and half. But, Petey, we, kind of threw some questions together. We started asking him questions on the fly. But, I mean, look, the thing was, man, that I think is really cool is that it was just a couple of days prior to this interview, the news about Jeff Jarrett being gone came out, and the first fucking thing we were like, hey, can we talk to you about this? And he said, absolutely. I mean, there was nothing that Petey held back from us. I mean, even hear him talking about, Sanjay doing the booking and whatnot. So I just wanted to say thank you to Petey. I hope that the guy sticks around in Impact. If you listen to the interview, we talked about possibly signing a contract. He's just a super nice guy. And here's the thing. I'm going to stop rambling about that shit. But when we did the interview with Crazy Steve and Rosemary and all that, after the call was over, myself, Impact Dude, Old School Heel, and Wake Chambers at the time, we just thought, we were talking and we're like, man, why in the hell does Crazy Steve get to talk more? And so when this interview ended, it's Old School Heel, myself, Impact Dude, and Griggs. We're like, why don't they let Petey talk more? And I think really they could I still think this guy has a lot to offer. And I just feel like there's a lot of potential for Petey, and the guy just deserves it. Let him talk more, man. And we talked about the Team Canada thing, and here's what I wanted to say if we didn't get the chance, is it's a very odd couple, but I'd like to see this new Team Canada. So Crazy Steve didn't work out with the WWE. I'd like to see Crazy Steve, Rosemary, maybe another Canadian guy come in and just have this odd couple kind of thing as the new Team Canada, and let's let Team Canada be faces now, because I'll be honest, the whole Canadian thing, Canadians are fucking nice people. It's hard to think they're going to be dicks. Unless you're Nickelback, fuck you. So I want to give that props to Petey, but look, Hurls, man. So I haven't been on here for a while. I don't know your thoughts on it, but I'm going to keep it real, man. I'm not digging Impact right now. It's not like 2014 where I just thought the product was dog shit and I was about to turn away, because these shows are decent, but it's not clicking for me. And here, look, the Jeff Jarrett thing, that left a bad taste in my mouth. When I read these tapings, it left a bad taste in my mouth. I think this Bound for Glory card kind of sucks. The shows are just not connecting with me. I mean, I've been entertained at times, but the fact that Jarrett's gone, a wrestling person, we lost another one in Cornette, and Jabir's getting some form of power back, and that's the worst fucking thing for me. And so, Earl, I mean, as far as direction goes and what's going on, I mean, what's your thoughts right now, man?
Well, I guess I'm kind of confused on the whole Jarrett fiasco because I don't really understand, like, is he actually gone or is he taking a hiatus? Because from all the reports that we had, he was drunk at the AAA Mania show. And that was kind of the turning point for Ed Norholm to kind of say, hey, you need to take a break. So there's really no clarification if he's taking a break or if he's permanently gone from Impact. I don't think there's any clarification there. But it's not a good sign, obviously, when you remove the GFW letters because I know that was very Jarrett influenced. So hopefully we'll get some answers on that pretty quickly, and hopefully Jarrett is using this time to get sober because clearly he's had some issues with his drinking. Secondly, I'm not. I'll be honest. I'm not happy that Dr. Dirk has any sort of power within the company because I don't really know what he does that's that well. Like, what is his main specialty? I don't know how many wrestlers really care for him. But the thing that still gets me at least hopeful is that Scott D'Amore has a lot more power than he did, and Sanjay Dutt is also on the creative team. So that kind of keeps me intrigued. At least I know the wrestling's going to be really good. But it definitely seems like the last 4 weeks have been less storyline based. And I don't know if that's necessarily a good thing. But I will say the last 2 Impacts, where I enjoyed them. I enjoyed the last 2 Impacts. The 2 or 3 before that, they were getting kind of stale for me. So at least the last 2 Impacts, I'm kind of getting a little hyped up for Bound for Glory. I don't think it's a great card by any means, but I'm at least kind of intrigued with some of the matches. So that's kind of where I'm at with Impact. It's still my number 1 brand. I don't watch any other wrestling, so they're still number 1, but I did lose a little interest. But thankfully, I'm caught up with everything. So I'm actually looking forward to Impact this Thursday.
Yeah, man. Like I'll be fucking honest on this show. Like I've since I started doing this show and last year, man. Like my life is just the most crazy, just out of control shit in my life has happened since I've been doing this show. And there's been times it's been hard to do this shit. But look, man, I got a divorce last year. If you want to know the main reason that my marriage and relationship was so terrible is because I had addiction issues and shit. And there's a very small amount of people that have known that, but now like all you. So when I heard the shit about Alberto and Paige and that behavior, I thought drugs or alcohol. When I heard the shit about Jarrett, it's like it's pills or alcohol kind of a thing. So I mean, and on Big Ray Show, man, I remember when they first came out, they were talking about how they could see Jarrett kind of snaking to move Ed Nordholm out and take over power and whatnot. Just like his dad did. And so part of me thought, like, is that the case now? Ed caught on and get Jarrett out, but it seems bigger than that. But I mean, like, Jarrett has dropped like everything associated with the company on his Twitter, apparently, from what I've heard. I wanted to wait it out till Bound for Glory because I felt Jarrett would be back. And like whatever you want to say, I feel like this company, at least at one point, was really going in the right direction with Jeff Jarrett when he came back, and I was very excited. And when I watched Destination X, I thought, this show is so fucking good. Like, I don't know how people can't tune in to see what happens next because things have been going so well. And, then the next time we get Eli winning the belt, and that's awesome. It was stupid that they announced it, but it was awesome. And, I mean, I saw people on the, like, fucking websites that, don't watch Impact. They're like, oh, if this guy's a champ, I'm going to start turning in. Like, the ratings have been dropping hardcore. And it's nothing to do with Eli. It's just these shows have been poorly booked. Creative's kind of half-assed. There's not a lot of continuity. And, dude, like this, and I'll talk about it in a sec, man, but this Bound for Glory card is lackluster. And when I read the spoilers leading into it, it's like, what the fuck is going on? And I feel like that's transitioned to TV, and a lot of stuff I figured might be answered. It really hasn't. So I've just, and man, like another goddamn name change or belt change, like, did they not think this through? So like, it's not going to be GFW anymore. Like, it's back to Impact. Like, what? I don't even know if the company's fucking called anymore, bro. I don't, man. Like, I don't fucking know, and it's just, I love this company. I ride or die. Like, I'm a diehard TNA fan, Impact fan. Like, this is literally the only thing that it will ever keep me being a wrestling fan, you know, but like, I just don't fucking give a shit about wrestling right now. It's just like the belts are going to change back, the name change. I mean, we went through all that for what? For what? I mean, it's like we finally get Anthem and we get new ownership, and it's like finally we get rid of Dixie and Bjork, and all this stupid shit's going to change, and things are going well for a minute, and then it's the same shit show. And it's, you know, we hear the rumors, whether they're true or not, you know, like Anthem came out and denied it, thank God, but, you know, when we start hearing the fucking rumors about Anthem wants out and all this, Jarrett's gone, you know, they're putting Bjork back around, it's just, it's fucking disheartening, and it really soured me as a fan, and it's been hard to want to do the show when I've had no, like, passion or love or interest here, and, you know, I'm just being honest, but, you know, the fact that there's Sanjay, there's Diamore, there's Dutch Mantel, I mean, if you take those three and Cornette and just leave Bjork's fucking stupid ass, that fucking weasel that tried to sell the company to WWE, that just completely declined the shit out of the company, why him? Why him, you know? And that's what bothers me. But, I mean, Hurl's like this name change thing and shit. I mean, you got anything on it? I mean, it's embarrassing.
Well, oh yeah, it's definitely embarrassing. Why did they make the change to begin with? It should have been Impact Wrestling the whole time, because why would you rebrand it as GFW when GFW didn't do anything? That was bad in itself. But as far as like the whole rumors of Anthem trying to sell, that was the dog. That was the guy from Sports. Maybe it was from Sports Illustrated. He made the whole thing up from employees that used to work at Anthem, and he had no credible source. And he was called out on it, and he basically was made to look like a fool. And Ed Nordholm thankfully went on Dave Meltzer and I think it was Brian Alvarez's podcast, and basically, you know, he said the truth. He's like, yeah, we're trying to make it profitable. We're doing things right now. And then that's kind of when, you know, Ed Nordholm dropped the whole thing about the network. So I didn't really take that report to heart. I think it was just a guy who was was looking to smear Impact Wrestling, and you know, he did a decent job of it for that week. But everything else, you know, as far as the name to GFW was just poorly done. They didn't have the rights to it. I just think it was really just, why would you do it? You know, it just made no sense. You didn't have the rights from Jarrett, and it was just really poorly done. So, you know, I guess, I don't know. There must have been something else that probably went on with Jeff Jarrett that we don't know. I know there was the whole Bob Ryder incident backstage where apparently Karen blew up at him, and Jarrett was yelling at him. I guess that didn't help matters, but you know, right now I'm kind of seeing where it goes. The storylines aren't the greatest going into Bound for Glory, which you would hope would be really good, but once again, we have a change in creative. And I just think this whole American Top Team is supposed to involve Jeff Jarrett, and I think at the last minute they're kind of scrambling and trying to kind of patchwork this whole thing. And I'm not, and obviously with Alberto El Patron, I mean, that didn't help either when, you know, him and Paige are, you know, getting in this scuffle at an airport. So obviously your plans with the world title had to change as well. And that's why I think we have a half-assed Bound for Glory. We have two of their big matches that are not really well put together, but there's reasons for that. So I think they're trying to recover as best as they can, but it doesn't make for that great of a pay-per-view as of right now, unfortunately. Raven?
Sorry, Harold, I was talking. Thank you. We're talking about for Glory now, and I know the spoilers. I know what all the matches are. Not all of them have been announced and all that. But when I read the spoilers, man, I thought Bound for Glory is really a mediocre at best card. And that may surprise and change. Like there's some mediocre cards that turn out to be fucking amazing. Slammiversary this year was one of them. But like the Knockouts Championship, I think is probably the one that kind of excites me the most. What else do we got announced right now? So there's the street fight, the OVE and LAX. There's Johnny Impact is going to challenge Eli Drake. Hurls, what else has been announced?
We have,
so we have Lashley and Moose in some capacity.
Yeah, Lashley and Moose in some capacity. I'm not going to spoil it. I do know the match that they're going to have, but
I do too.
Right. We also have the X Division 6-way. It's going to be Trevor Lee versus Andrew Everett versus Caleb Conley versus Petey Williams versus Sanjay Dutt versus Matt Sydal. I believe that's going to be
Desmond not in it?
Oh, you know what? Maybe Desmond, but I don't. I'd have to listen to that again. But Desmond McGregor is in that one.
I wanted to say Desmond's in it. Yeah, but I mean, I think that as far as I'll be honest, man, I haven't paid that much attention during these shows. Like, I thought Victory Road was good. I thought this week was pretty good, but other than that, it's just not really captivating me. I mean, here's the thing, man. The X Division and the tag team title match, or in the Knockouts match, those are the best for me. But look, I wanted Johnny Impact in this company really bad. Like anyone listening to the show knows how much I wanted him in. He should not be in this spot at all right now. It is way too soon. It's the same shit they did with Alberto. They're not pushing this guy because he's Johnny Mundo and Lucha Underground or he's a Triple H champ. They're pushing him because he was John Morrison in WWE. And they're pushing him right to the top. And I just fucking don't think we've already seen this match once for start. I mean, your headliner of your biggest pay-per-view do something that's never happened before. But I just, as much as I like Morrison and love Morrison, Impact, whatever you want to call him, like I wanted him here, and I'm glad he's here. I just no, like he shouldn't be in this match. I mean, what the fuck are they doing with Storm and EC3? Putting them in there with these AAA guys from the looks of it. I mean, it's frustrating. But that's what I'm gonna say about that. And I'm gonna at the end of the show, man. And I said it was gonna do this on the first one. I know we're running a little bit longer than we want to. So this Impact review, when we hit it here in a sec, we're gonna fucking kind of fly by it. I'm going to give you my Bound for Glory my Bound for Glory card. If I would have booked Bound for Glory, I said I was going to do this the last time I was on the show. I'm going to tell you how my card would look in comparison. But Hurls, anything you want to chime in before we talk about the name of this title, and then we're going to talk about the champ?
Well, yeah, I also want to mention that there's another match announced. It's going to be Taya Valkyrie versus Rosemary. That's another Bound for Glory match.
Yeah, and I wanted to say that, too. It seemed like, I don't know if it necessarily got announced last week, but that one I think is going to be good. I'd rather see kind of Rosemary around the title, but that one I think is going to be real good too. And Taya's impressing me. So here's the other thing, man, is the World Heavyweight Championship held by Eli Drake. Now, every time they announce it, they say this for the GFW Global Championship. For one, when you say the Global Championship, it sounds like it's a mid-card belt. It doesn't sound like it's the World Heavyweight Championship. But not only that, but we had the Global Championship in this company before. And what I remember the most about that is Rob Terry holding that belt, and it has a bad taste in my mouth. And I feel like, why are you calling it the Global Championship? Just call it the GFW Championship or the World Heavyweight Championship or Impact. Or it just I wish they would drop this name because it just makes it sound like a mid-card title. And it confuses me every time I hear it, and I don't fucking like it. And I don't know if I'm just being nitpicky, but, I mean, it's just, stop, man. Like, it makes it sound like a secondary belt.
Yeah. I mean, if you looked at some of the recent pictures, hopefully they're going back to the Impact World Heavyweight Championship because Eli Drake is is carrying around the old TNA belt.
Yeah. And I hope that's the case, man. I like the look of that belt. Like the big kind of gold one with Impact kind of written across the front. I like the look of that one a lot. It looks like a real official championship. But here's the thing, man. This is the one saving grace that I really want to say here. Eli Drake is the fucking best in the business by far right now. Best guy, man. He is holding this company down. He has exceeded all expectations. I know that they're going to say he's the lowest fucking ratings drawing champ or whatnot. It's not on Eli Drake. It's on the goddamn terrible booking, storylines, like the way that these shows are constructed, spoilers being out there. That's the reason. It's not Eli Drake. This guy, I swear to God, like, I knew he was great. I really liked him, but, like, EC3 was my guy. I thought, like, he still can't out-talk EC3 and whatnot. Like, he has surpassed everyone in this entire business. This guy's promo, and I know, like, Impact Dude was kind of hating on it the other day on last week's show, saying it was kind of Ric Flair, like, kind of a knockoff of Ric Flair. I think there was a slight influence of Ric Flair, but by no means do I think he was knocking him off cheaply or anything along those lines. I think Eli Drake's talking, his promos, all of that, the way he's been as a champ, it's been fucking phenomenal. And I can't give this guy enough credit. That promo in the back where he's talking about, you know, looking at these baby blues but don't get lost in them. I mean, dude, it's genius. I feel there's absolutely no way that this guy should drop the belt to Bound for Glory, period. I think they should keep the belt on this guy for a long time. I think he's hands down the best thing in the business right now.
Oh, definitely. I think that promo was great, and I agree with you. I think it was a slight influence, obviously, but, you know, he also takes influence from The Rock. But that's what makes Eli Drake so good. I have no problem with him doing the gravy train to that suit coat because I thought it was hilarious. And everything the guy is doing, his wrestling has gotten so much better. His promo work is by far right now the best in the business, if you ask me. You mentioned lowest rating. Thankfully, the ratings were actually pretty higher this week. They were 279,000, so they went up at least 18,000. So that was good news. But he's been remarkable, and he just keeps getting better and better each week. I can't wait to see what he does next. And you know what? I actually don't hate Chris Adonis. I know FK9 really hates Chris Adonis, but I think he's doing a much better job at being the support man than Tyrus ever did. So, you know, I mean, they're actually making me somewhat like Chris Adonis right now in the role that he's in. So, I don't know. I don't mind him. I like him better in that role than what Tyrus did in that role.
Yeah, that's a good point, too, because I wanted to say this, too, is I actually am enjoying what Chris Adonis is doing. Like, we're not seeing him in the ring a bunch. He's not getting pushed hard. You know, like, it seemed like Eli was going to make his lefty for a minute. Adonis is doing good, and I feel like it kind of, you know, some of the shit that's happened, I kind of feel like they're probably going to, like, blow the two of them up pretty soon. But I think they should keep them together for a while. And I think Adonis is succeeding. I think it's helping him get over. And I think it's helping him get more accepted by fans that were totally against him. And, I mean, who cares, man? Like, who cares? Like, Chris Adonis isn't fucking winning the world championship. He's not being pushed hard. He's out there, you know, is a sidekick kind of role, secondary to the man. And anyone complaining about Adonis being out there, like, you need to just get over it. Like, I think you're really reaching way too high because, I mean, really, what is he doing that's just so terrible? You know? I mean, it's not like he's taking spotlight. It's not like he's overshadowing the champ or doing anything. I mean, yeah, he's fucking putting people over to make the champ look better. So exactly. Thank you, girls, for that. All right, man. Let's just run down Impact kind of quick. Because it's supposed to be a short show. You and I just shot the shit for too long. But look, man. So we found out Homicide's gonna be back at Bound for Glory. But look, the opening skit, we get LAX against OVE. There's a 51-50 street fight. I mean, that's all of them. Diamante, man, like, I forget about this girl sometimes, but every time I see her talking, she does her thing. I just can't wait to see her in the ring. All I'm going to say, OVE should have never won these belts. They're not over enough yet. LAX should still be the champion. And I felt LAX should have held these belts going into Bound for Glory before they lost them. But now, the only thing I'm going to say is LAX better not fucking lose this match. They better win them back. LAX is the shit. LAX is fucking over, and they're legit. Hurls?
Yeah, no, I agree. I think LAX needs them back. I think, Alberto El Patron coming back to join forces here and possibly screwing over Ovi, I think that would be the best thing for business right now. I just think Ovi needs some more work to get over. I'm not really feeling them as far as their wrestling ability or their mic skills at this point.
Yeah, they had a lot of hype coming in. I mean, I'd been hearing about them for years on Asylum. They got pushed hard on Impact. And I feel like their debut, they kind of got outshadowed by the fucking enhancement talent in a way. But, I mean, there was potential with them, but it's just, I feel like they needed to work their way up and kind of wrestle some other teams, put them in with Reno Scum when they come back, kind of build them up before getting them to this point. Instead, they just come out, beat the, extremely dominant tag team champs who are, one of the most overacts in your company. And it was a bad mistake in my opinion, but, it is what it is, and hopefully we get 5150 LAX, yay, getting the titles back at Bound for Glory. We had Rosemary defeat Hannah Harper. Squash match. Rosemary said nothing makes her happier than an opponent with worthy of her brand of violence and destruction, who is it Taya or Taya Valkyrie? So Taya comes out. She missed Rosemary. We're going to have that match set up. This girl's impressed me a lot. I'm excited to see her and Rosemary at Bound for Glory. Hurls?
I don't think they've had that match yet. Are you talking about Taya versus Rosemary?
Yeah.
I think that's this week.
I thought it was upcoming
week. Oh yeah. Okay. Did you? Okay. Yeah. No, they're wrestling at. Who did you say Taya submits? Oh, that whatever her name was, Hannah Harper. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, Rosemary beating that chick.
Sorry. Yeah, that was just. I mean, I don't mind the occasional squash match, but especially when you're going to your big pay-per-view, you don't want them to really, touch each other. Her and Rosemary. So I'm looking forward to
her and Rosemary touch each other.
Yeah, exactly. Who don't? Especially the fat one. But yeah, it was a good segment.
Yeah, speaking of that, women would like to be touching each other. So we had Taryn Terrell and Gail Kim. It was a little segment between the two of them. Again, kind of the same spat that they left off a couple years back. Gail slapping Taryn, going all that. I mean, I don't know if it was necessary, but it's a good rivalry between those two with Gail's reunion. I'm excited for the four women in that match, Bound for Glory. I don't really have much else to say, but goddamn, Taryn's hot.
Oh, yeah. You say that again, and her outfits get better and better every week, I may add.
Yeah. So, look, man, we had Joseph Park pulled up in the limo with some interns or whatnot. Grado looked upset. Apparently, there's supposed to be some kind of, conclusion or heads up leading into next week. I don't get things. I think Joseph Park and this stuff has been funny, but I'm burnt out on Grado, man. He's Grado. It is what it is. I just feel like talent could be going. Just his fucking time could be going to someone a lot better. But I don't know if you have anything you want to say on this. I know we'll find out more next week.
Well, yeah. I mean, obviously, if you've been paying attention, Joseph Park is obviously stringing Grado along. And it'll only be a matter of time, I think, before Grado kind of realizes what's going on. So I kind of see where this is going, but I mean, it's sort of funny. Anything really that Up There / Joseph Park does lately has been pretty solid. I will say with Decay, but I even like the Joseph Park stuff with that they did with Steiner and Anniversary. So I enjoyed it. I think they could possibly have a, if they're going at this route for Bound for Glory, I think it could be a sleeper match that you have low expectations for, but it ends up being really good. And that's how I think that could go.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have enjoyed the return to Joseph Park this year. It's when they very first did it years and years ago with Bad Influence, stuff like that. But, we'll see where it goes. We're not spoiling anything yet. But, and so we had, Cowboy James Storm teaming up with Ali and Desmond Xavier against Sienna, Caleb Conley, and Texano. I know it's saying that wrong. One thing I want to say, man, is after Destination X, it seemed like Desmond Xavier should have been the star. And they had Matt Seidel get a pin over Lashley, and I feel like what the fuck have they done with Seidel and Desmond since? And I feel like that's a big mistake on the writing staff team, because I feel like the X Division should have really gotten the catapult that it deserves, that I thought we were getting. But look, the right team went over. James Storm got a pin. Look, man, all I'm gonna say, dude, is again, James Storm and EC3. Like, I have no problem with this AAA versus Impact rivalry thing, and it's kind of cool to see promotions battle for supremacy. But James Storm and EC3 deserve so much better than to be in this fucking match. And I don't know if Eddie Edwards is going to be involved in this or not, but I just feel like the three of them, I mean, maybe Eddie, but Storm and EC3 just deserve better than this. But it's nice to see James Storm get a pinfall.
Yeah, I think James Storm looked really strong in this one, and I actually feel like there's, legit beef between him and Tejano Jr. I'm a huge Tejano Jr. fan, by the way. I did watch some of his stuff in Lucha Underground, and I think he's a hell of a worker, and he's a pretty big name in Mexico. So I didn't mind them bringing some of these guys over and just trying to say, that, hey, we're from AAA, we're a better company, we can prove it. I mean, I don't mind that. I thought this match was actually really good, and I'm just glad that James Storm was made to look strong, and I think Ali is always over with the crowd, and I think Desmond Xavier, it's only a matter of time before he wins the X Division title, because he's a star in the making. So I thought this match was really good, actually.
Yeah, I think I'm really disappointed that the Super X Cup, they didn't really push Desmond a lot harder after that, because I feel like the time was right to strike. And, it's just disappointing how long they've left him off TV. Like, I'm glad that P's getting, more TV time, and I've enjoyed the tag team matches that I saw there and whatnot. But, and Trevor Lee as a character has been great. He's still not fucking the Trevor Lee that we see on the indies that he should be, but, it's just, man, this stuff, like, Desmond should be such a bigger star than he is right now. So, look, there was a Noah press conference stuff going throughout the show. It's nice to see the promoting between the two. It looked like Eli Drake was defending against Scott Hall's kid. We saw Eddie Edwards retain that title against Marufuji, the highlights of that. Garza saying something about having his sights set on the global title. I know that sounds like a mid-card belt, but again, that's the World Heavyweight Championship in Impact Wrestling, or GFW, whatever the fuck it is called right now. I mean, I don't have anything more to say about the Noah stuff. I don't know what's going to happen with Eddie at Bound for Glory, if he's going to be involved with Storm and EC3, or maybe he's going to defend that against someone from Noah on the Bound for Glory card. Is there anything about the Noah stuff you wanted to say, or do you want to move on to the next?
I just want to say that I wish we would have saw that Eddie Edwards with Marufuji match. Really good. But yeah, that's really all I wanted to say. I'm glad Eddie Edwards is a fighting champion over there, and he's defending the title with pretty well. His run's going well in Japan.
Absolutely. I mean, you make a good point with that Eddie Edwards and Marufuji thing. That's a pretty big deal. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know how long that match went, but if you think about it, you can cut out the little Grado and just a part segment. Was that Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell segment that necessary? I mean, they may have had time to actually put that in there and, kind of attracted more of an audience to Noah, which would help, sell the Global Wrestling Network a little bit more, too, if people are more excited to see what's going on with Noah. But I think we're going to see more of Noah coming in from here on out. And I think, the fact that Cody Hall is actually working for them, that could possibly bring, a cleaned up and total different Scott Hall back around to the TNA scene, which, I love fucking Scott Hall. So if I can get more of that guy, maybe we'll bring back a couple of fans that may give a shit still. But so here we go, man. So, we had the number one contenders match, and I'm going to say that I thought this was a very good match. This was the best wrestling match I've seen on TNA Impact in a while, and I really enjoyed seeing this match. Hurls, answer me this, though, buddy. What in the flying fuck has Garza Jr. done to be in the number one contenders match against Johnny Impact to go to Bound for Glory? I mean, So Garza Jr. gets it, not EC3, not James Storm, not Eddie Edwards, not Lashley, not Moose, not Garza Jr. I mean, dude, okay, so this guy, and when I read this stuff on the spoilers, I thought they'll at least show me something to, like, get this guy to where he's at. He fucking attacked Chris Adonis. I mean, prior to this, these tapings, man, like, I think him and Laredo Kid won one tag team match they were in, and that was against, Balaba and Mario Bakar or whatever, or Idris Abraham and the other. Like, I have nothing against Garza Jr., but nothing about the guy screams, like, star or, like, main eventer to me. But I don't fucking understand where this came from and why this guy was in that match. Am I alone in this, or, like, did I miss something because I haven't paid the most attention?
Well, no, he was what it looked like he was going to feud with Braxton Sutter. Then all of a sudden they just bring him out, and he all of a sudden he wrestled Chris Adonis obviously 2 weeks ago, but here it's like all of a sudden they just name him like you said, they skipped over James Storm, EC3, like so many other names that it really made no sense. Like, it was just like they couldn't think of a way to get Johnny Impact to the main event of Bound for Glory. That's basically what I thought of it as. This should have been much more thought out. It was just a half-assed booking job. Now, granted, the match was good. I mean, the match saved it, but still, the booking just was terrible for this. And I mean, and I agree. Like, Johnny Impact should not be naming Bound for Glory. Like, he just came in. Like, it's just a terrible, terrible planning job by Impact here. I think they dropped the ball. I mean, I'm sure the match is going to be really good with Eli Drake, but man, this just screams like just desperate right here, because they could have done so much more if they would have just kept what they were doing, like, from 2016, as far as planning things ahead of time. It would have been fine, but this was a rush job if I've ever seen one, and I think this was a total John Gaborik booking move here, if you ask me, because just pushing a guy from an outside company to the top right away, I just think it's a big mistake. I think they should have had somebody else. Like, James Storm would have been perfect here. I mean, sure, it's not the most, it wouldn't have drew the most money, but it would have made a little more sense if you would have built James Storm versus Eli Drake, I think, over Johnny Impact, because it's just too early for him. I mean, he's got to, I believe in, actually earning your spot, and I don't think Johnny Impact has done that as of yet.
I agree with you 100%. Look, you say, I don't know that it would have drawn the most money. I don't think it would have drawn any less money than what James Storm and Eli Drake would do. And look, man, the fact is, Johnny Impact was John Morrison in the WWE. He was not like some huge megastar there at all. I feel like he was better than what he was booked and treated as, but he was never some huge megastar. He's got all the potential to be, but he never was. And I don't think he's done anything in Impact right now to prove that. And the fact of the matter is, like, they're not pushing this guy to the top because he's a AAA champion, because he's Johnny Mundo and Lucha Underground, because he was John Morrison and Johnny Nitro in the WWE, and he had a decent enough, upper mid-card success there. I don't feel he should be in this spot. If you want to push the guy to that point at some point, fine, but gradually prove that he's better than this mid-carder than you saw him last for most of the fucking audience tuning in, or any casual that may tune in to watch this company. Dude, like, from the fucking start of this company, like, and I get it at the beginning at times. Like, when the company first starts, you got to push the bigger names, that people know elsewhere in order to get people to possibly watch. So, you'd see, like, Jeff Jarrett with the belt. You'd see Kevin Nash and, like, stuff like that around the world title. Or you'd see people from WWE come in and, like, really get a big push. Christian, like, deserved everything he got. But you know what I mean, right?
Right.
And it's like, they've just continued to do it. And it's like, you see Dixie's just like, Dixie was such a mark, and you're such an idiot that they, like, would kiss the WWE's ass so much. But, you get someone back with Jeff Jarrett, and we get these wrestling people, and we think, okay, we've like, we're going to get the right people pushed. We're going to get the company going. But you watch Alberto just come in and just run, like dominate and fucking beats EC3 twice, beats Lashley twice, doesn't lose a single match except like the one at LAX pinned him when it was like, 4 or 5. I mean, something ridiculous. You know what I mean? And the guy doesn't even get pinned when he drops the belt. So then we get Johnny Impact. So we get Eli Drake as a champ, which is awesome. And you know what's the biggest pay-per-view of the year? And it's like we just take this WWE main card guy, catapult him to the very top. But like, who's he actually beating to get there? He's beating Garza Jr. I mean, it's just, and I mean, we're seeing fucking Matt Sydal pin Lashley, and you know what I mean? Like, it's, as much as I enjoyed this new regime at the start, all they've done is just push these WWE guys, former WWE guys, over their own talent so much, and it's like, there's better talent out there that are homegrown TNA guys. And Storm, EC3, I mean, Lashley's more of a TNA guy than a WWE guy by far nowadays. Like Moose is fantastic. Eddie Edwards is, and I don't even want to see Eddie headline anything, but yeah, it's disappointing to me. And like, I'll be honest, I mean, I come on this show, and I've closed it out for weeks now saying, if you're not watching Impact Live every Thursday, you're a piece of shit and you're helping this company fail. And I've been told that on Impact Asylum, so I'm just going to fucking keep it real with people. So, I've been told on Impact Asylum from Griggs and Impact Dude and Old School Hill that people are on there talking about, like, Raven affects the man for saying that, and he's always out there, and they're thinking, if you only knew. So, I'll be honest, man, I've been behind for weeks watching Impact. I recorded it. I finished Impact last night at like 3 a.m. my time to get caught up to the show. My interest is, I'm just not in love with it. I don't hate it, but it's not catapulting. It's not like gauging my interest, and so I apologize. Football's on. I'm watching Thursday Night Football. I'm working, like, I work a lot. I work 11-hour days. I will watch football and get caught up on some stuff like that before I get caught up on wrestling. Like, it's just not catapulting me that way, and it kind of sucks, and this is part of the reason why. And it's just this Bound for Glory, and I'm not trying to be negative on the product at all because it hasn't been bad, but it's a shit show again. It's a shit show management-wise. This is Bound for Glory. It should be big, and it doesn't feel big at all, like at all. And I see some of the better guys out there, and I think, what the hell are they doing with them? We still got one more segment to touch before we get into it. But I mean, Hurls, was there anything else you want to chime in here?
Yeah, I think the best part about Bound for Glory is the location, to be honest. I mean, we're outside of the impact zone, which is nice, and we're in a different country, which, Canada, which is it's not like the Bound for Glory when they went to Japan when it wasn't going to be live. This is a Bound for Glory that'll be live, but it'll also be in a different country with a pretty big fan base. I think the Canadian wrestling fans are awesome, and I think they're going to do a good job. They're going to let you know who's good and who's not. So I think it'll be really interesting to see the Canadian fans respond. But I agree. I think Moose signed a 3-year deal. Okay, so this was like the start of his, re-signing, so to speak. I think I'm really hoping 2018 he's going to be a major player. I think he should be. I think he should get a title run in 2018. I love the fact that Eli Drake is a champ. I really do, but I just think John's Impact is just too soon for that. So hopefully they'll get past this, small thunderstorm that they're going through, and hopefully we can have some consistency, because that's what this company needs.
Yeah, they absolutely do need it, and hopefully I have no faith in John Gaverick, but I've got faith in Scott D. Moore and Sanjay Dutt and Dirty Dutch. So, look, man, all we can do is just wait and see what happens. There was one final segment, so we had the Moose and Lashley stuff, and so yeah, we showed the. I appreciate the way that they're doing it, the reality stuff. But I mean, with the Moose getting his ass kicked at ATT the week before and shit. I mean, the acting and just the way it was set up was really corny. But A for effort, I guess. But so Moose had called back to back up. He denied. So we got the American Psycho, Stephan Bonner, former UFC. Anyone that knows about the UFC, the very first Ultimate Fighter finale, Forrest Griffin and Stephan Bonner. A lot of people say that is the fight that really put the UFC on the map for mainstream popularity. Stephan Bonner, I'm a fan of Stephan Bonner, but like he's never been anything special. He's been an above-average MMA fighter at the peak of his career. He came back in Bellator, I believe. Him and T. Ortiz, it's just a fucking sad fight. Those guys gassed out, by round 3. From what I understand, Stephan transitioned into pro wrestling. So it looks like we're going to have Stephan Bonner maybe in Moose's corner, or we're setting up a tag team match. I'm sure you can kind of figure out who from ATT and MMA that's friends with Lashley would be his tag team partner if they go that route. I would much rather. I hope what we see is Lashley against Moose one-on-one, because these guys have great chemistry together, and I'd like to see that on the biggest show they do of the year. Like, let's finally put Moose over, but it's the stuff that they got with D'Angelo Williams and stuff like that. They're not going to get that with ESPN or Fox Sports 1. They might get a little bit with Spike. They might get covered by like Bloody Elbow and MMA Fighting, some of the bigger MMA websites out there, but. This isn't really going to help them unless their goal is just a plot to get back onto Spike TV. Host, your thoughts on this one?
I kind of thought the segment was well produced. I liked, some of that production they kind of started using in 2016, and I felt, they did it again here. I thought it was a decent segment. I mean, it was if you're Moose and you're battling MMA guys, why not go get yourself an MMA guy? I think, like I said, the plans were kind of scrapped last minute, so they kind of had to think of something to do. So I guess it's not a bad set plan B, I guess. It's not the greatest thing. It doesn't really, I mean, I guess Moose, it doesn't really look super strong here because he got beat up by 6 guys last week. So I get why he would go there at nighttime. But I don't know. It was a good way to build the feud and to garner some interest in this match, even though I'm not really looking forward to it. But at least it was a half. It was an attempt. I won't say it was half-assed, but I thought the segment was well produced, though. I'm hoping this match at Bound for Glory delivers. But Stephan Bonner, I don't really know too much about him. But if he's going into wrestling, then he's not going to be as green. I don't think he'll be as good as Jack Barnett, but I'm intrigued. Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, no, go ahead, man. Really the only thing about Stephan Bonner is he's a pretty charismatic and funny kind of guy. He's got a personality to him. I mean, maybe that can transition over to wrestling. He's not Chael Sonnen by any stretch of the imagination, but, I mean, he's definitely got some charisma, and he might be a pretty good talker promo. So he might have that going for him.
Oh, okay. I give this Impact probably about a 6.5. It wasn't great. I mean, there was some footage. We didn't really get to see all of it. So I'm going to give this one a 6.5. Wasn't bad, but wasn't great either.
I mean, it wasn't like spectacular to me. I thought the main event match was really good. I was really impressed with that. The LAX segment, I think LAX was good enough, and Diamante, the way that she acted was good enough to me. Those were really the only 2 things that stood out. Rosemary in the Taya match, I think will be good, but like that's about it for me that really stood out. So if there's anything else you're going to say, Harold, I'm going to fucking say how the RAB would have booked Bound for Glory before we kicked the show off and sent it home for the week. But is there anything else you want to chime in before I go with this?
Yeah, I just want to do a quick news update. I know we like to do this at the beginning, but it looks like Impact is going to be taping a one-night only this weekend in Oklahoma. It's going to be with Imperial Wrestling Revolution, and it's going to be in Shawnee, Oklahoma this Saturday, and the event is going to feature Eli Drake, EC3, Gail Kim, LAX, Trevor Lee, DJ Z. So that kind of, I don't know if that squashes the rumors we talked about earlier, but he will be on this one night only. And apparently MVP and Jack Swagger are also going to be on this show. So it'll be interesting to see if these two are going to be on the show or not. But I just kind of wanted to drop that. But other than that, that's all I really got. And we'll wait and see what the rest of the hype is going to be for Bound for Glory.
All right. Yeah, Hurl, thanks for that, man, because I actually, I think I was on Asylum a little bit earlier today. It's the first time I've been on there in a while, but I think I saw something along those lines, like people talking about Impact going to Oklahoma. I didn't realize it was a house show or whatnot, but as soon as I saw Oklahoma, I thought, Jack Swagger. Cool to hear MVP's name. I fucking think MVP was doing extremely well, extremely good work the last year he was in Impact, and I feel like it's fucking shitty that Giberic ran him out there, but, might not ever see MVP back on TV as long as Giberic still got that power, but, it is what it is. That shit's failed. I don't think MVP is going to put asses in seats. And, Hurls, before I do this, something just kind of popped in my mind, man. It had to do with Donovan Dijak, and, we've ribbed you about that shit for a while, but, someone on the show last week apparently said for sure that Sami Callihan was on his way to TNA. I've heard the rumor, but, who knows if it's going to happen. So, Hurls, you got a promo or anything you got to say on that?
Yeah. I kind of jumped the gun with Donovan Dijak. I thought he was coming to Impact Wrestling, I heard from a bad source, and I kind of ran with that. But as far as Impact dude kind of telling us that Sami Callihan was possibly coming, I have not heard anything about that. I think that's just a kind of a wild rumor, and I think a reason why maybe that was speculated on is because he teams with OVE on the Indies. So, Impact dude, I just want you to know that you're giving me grief for the Donovan Dijak, but I'm going to give you a little bit for Sami Callihan, all right? All right, Mr. Impact dude?
We'll see how it goes, because as much as we give you for the Donovan Dijak thing once in a while, Impact dude's going to go out there and say that on the show. If it backfires, we got to get at him. So there's that. We'll see how it goes, HeelCast Nation. But so without further ado, man, how the RIV would book Bound for Glory. If given the roster, you're not going to get a bunch of stupid bullshit from me, and I'm going to throw in this guy's showing up. I'm working with the fucking roster we have. So look, man, we got the Global Wrestling Network now, right? So that means we can have a fucking pre-show for an hour before the actual pay-per-view starts. So we can hype it up and we can show actually wrestling matches, not just one like Slammiversary within that half hour. We got 3. So look, first match I've got just throwing some tag teams together, get some tag team wrestling out there. I've got Veterans of War versus KM and Congo Kong versus Reno Scum returning versus Phantasma and Texano. I'm really not sure who I'd probably put over. Probably the returning Reno Scum because they're trying to push them. Maybe the AAA guys, who knows, but that's what I would do there. Number 1 contenders for the Tag Team Championship. I have OVE defeating Andrew Everett and Caleb Conley. And then I have number 1 contender for the X Division Championship and Ultimate X match. I've got Garza defeating the Laredo Kid, DJ Z, Ishimori, Marufuji, and Drago. We haven't seen some of those people in Impact, but look, obviously they can use them. So we'll see Marufuji at some point, but look, we can get those guys in. Garza, man, if you want to push the guy and promote him, there's an opportunity, but not the way that you're going. Start him with the X Division, build him up gradually and slowly. Put him on there, make him kind of be the surprise winner here, and start pushing him from there if that's what you want to go. I don't think the guy is superstar or whatnot, but he's a good wrestler and entertaining. It's just I don't think there's something super special with him to the way they're pushing him right now. So we go to the main card. I've got 8 matches on the dot. Let's see. I would kick it off with our X Division Championship match. So my X Division champion is Desmond Xavier. So basically after the Super X Cup, I would have Desmond beat Sanjay Dutt, who was the champion at that time, clean. Basically throughout time, Desmond would become a defending champion winning, kind of like a John Bones Jones situation where you start off as this really nice, humble guy, but then he starts just doing so much better and just becomes kind of a cocky dick towards the time that we get to Bound for Glory, and he's full-blown heel. So I have him defending one-on-one against Matt Sydal. I'd go with Sydal getting upset to defeat Desmond Xavier and put that shit down. So that kicks off the show. Normally they do that with the X Division. So second match, and this is kind of a weird one, but so at the time EC3 was our grand champion. I'm not sure how exactly I would do this, but our grand champion now is Trevor Lee. I want to get Trevor Lee out of the X Division if he's not going to wrestle that style. And so, look, EC3 is above that championship belt. So basically, I don't know, maybe have like Moose would be EC3 and then some shenanigans go down and somehow Trevor Lee beats Moose. So Trevor Lee goes on this tyrant where he wins a couple matches and says no one can beat him under this stipulation and calls that an open challenge for Bound for Glory. So look, the obvious person to answer could be Alberto El Patron, who wrestles, who's also an MMA fighter, this kind of MMA feeling. So Patron could come out, beat Trevor Lee, pin him, whatnot. Other options there, though, would be possible Rey Mysterio, or the one that I would really like to have, it would be Austin Aries making his return, and then we'd do the Patron thing later. But what I would love to see is Austin Aries come out, beat Trevor Lee in this situation, and then Austin Aries, being Austin Aries, say I'm dropping this corny-ass, stupid stipulation with the Grand Championship rules, and it's just a normal mid-card title. Let's see here. Next match I've got would be the Tag Team Championship. I'm going to go with LAX, who would still be the champions at this time, defending against Petey Williams and Sanjay Dutt. We have new champions. Petey and Sanjay get the kind of a victory feel and be the first team to finally beat LAX, as they would have been undefeated heading in there. Gosh, where am I going to go next? So next match I would go with would be Eddie Edwards, the NOAH champion, whatever the hell they call that, against Johnny Impact, who would be the AAA champion. Now, what would happen to set this match up is, Johnny Impact would get the title shot. Maybe what we saw against Eli Drake at Victory Road, right? But Eddie gets pissed because he's tired of seeing all these people from other companies come in and get pushed towards the top. We actually see a spark and fire in Eddie Edwards to where he gets upset, and kind of go along this thing. Like, we're tired of seeing the WWE guys come in and get pushed above the Impact guys. So it's kind of an Impact guy versus, other company guys. And we'd have Johnny Impact get the win, kind of make Johnny Impact go over, be that star. But I think that would be a great match. You got two champions from different companies wrestling each other. And I think it kind of keeps those guys, where they belong. Let's see, I would go next with the Last Knockout Standing Part 2. I have Gail Kim against Taryn Terrell. Good way to send Gail Kim out, I think. So basically, we'd have Gail Kim win this match. I'll kind of address the Knockouts Championship here in a minute. So last up we got Moose against Lashley. Like I said, I'd like to see that. They got good chemistry. I'd like to see Moose go over on Lashley and be put over that way. So final two matches are the Knockouts Championship and the Impact Championship. So the Knockouts Championship would be champion Sienna versus Taya Valkyrie versus Rosemary versus Allie versus Laura Van Ness in what I feel is the much anticipated for the very first time ever Queen of the Mountain match. My champion in this would be Allie. So Allie would get the surprise win. What I would do in this is I would have basically Braxton do something dirty towards Rosemary towards the end with Allie not noticing it. That's how Allie gets the victory. So basically what I'd set up here is Gail Kim, she's going to run out and wants to be champion. Allie, the big success story and whatnot, but Allie's not over with this regime like she was. She's not America's sweetheart anymore, right? So I have Gail the next fucking episode beat Allie for the belt. And then, it kind of gets Allie a little bit frustrated. We see Gail go out and beat Sienna, and then she beats Allie again. And then right toward the end, Gail is going to put up the title on the line against who she wants to face. Who's going to be Rosemary. Rosemary will come out and defeat Gail Kim. And so it seems like we're going to get the end of and win the belt, right? So and then we're going to get Gail riding off to the sunset. But Taya comes out, says she wants to, end Rosemary's career, or not Rosemary's, but Gail Kim's. So before Gail Kim leaves for good, she faces Taya and actually puts Taya Valkyrie over and makes a star there. Then maybe we get Rosemary versus Taya, but basically we're going to get Allie turning heel over that and being upset, and then that's how we lead to Allie versus Rosemary feud to start that way. And then the main event, James Storm and EC3 both challenging Eli Drake in an elimination match. So triple threat match, but pinfall knocks the next guy out. Cowboy James Storm going over and getting the win there. So that's how I'd look down for Glory. And I feel like my card kind of triumphs the other one, but that's your guys' decision to say. But I just feel a lot better kid came in the Down for Glory card, but it is what it is. Girls, before we send them off, man, anything you got to say?
No. That's pretty much it for me. I think I've said everything I wanted to. Just last but not least, get the GWN network and James Storm for champ.
Yeah, no doubt. James Storm for champ. James Storm and EC3 better than what they are. But look, on behalf of the RAV, on behalf of Hurls, I want to say thank you for tuning in this week. We'll be back probably better next week, but HeelCast out. Thanks for tuning back in. Good to be back, everyone. Have a great week.
Hey, have a good night.